case study, I picked behavior disorder. And the story that was picked in that topic was about a boy named Billy Stark who was expelled from his school and transferred to Southview Middle School. The principal set forth a meeting, like they usually do. The entire staff meets bi-weekly. The academic staff meets weekly for an hour, and then 20 minutes every day during the time that they can. And during one of those meetings, he chose Mr. Banta to teach Billy Stark because of how his rapport was with other students and how exceptional it was, and also because he was very well at handling things under pressure in high-volume situations. The first day of school, Billy Stark didn't do well. He struck a kid because the kid asked him where he got his hair done. Billy Stark had multiple different behavior issues. He would lash out, he would throw things, he would blame everything that he was going through on other people, and part of that was probably because of his home life. Whenever Mr. Stark came in for a meeting with the principal, Mr. Sostic, he stated that Billy's mom left whenever he was at a young age, and before that his father abused alcohol and was never home. So Billy had a whole lot going on in his home life, let alone his school life and his social life. And Billy didn't like to socialize, he didn't like authority, he didn't seem to like anything because of his behavior disorder. So whenever a length of time went on where they tried to help him at the school, Mr. Banta, his teacher, they put him up in a special education class, they put him up in a class where he spoke to his therapist, and nothing seemed to be working. They tried a reward system, it didn't work. He was abusing drugs, was smoking cigarettes, and nothing seemed to work. But after a lengthy amount of time, his dad notified the school that they were moving to Indiana to be closer to family. And then after they had moved there, the teachers and the school had found out that Billy was admitted to a juvenile correctional center to help him with his behavior because it just got out of control and no one could handle it. So basically, the point of the story is that there was a lot more that the school could do that they didn't do. One of the things is behavior management. When behavior management is unsuccessful in demonstrating results, the behaviorist is quick to suggest that the reward the teacher offered must have been inappropriate for 96, using case studies to analyze educational issues, 05-96, Campoy, period, QXD, June 23rd, 2004, 7:33 p.m., page 96, The Learner. Another thing is also found in case studies of students with exceptional needs, 97, 05-Campoy, period, QXD, June 23rd, 2004, 7:33 p.m. on page 96. This case, constructivist theory, could explain but couldn't overcome the obstacles Billy faced attempting to change. Constructivist learning theory, was actually correct in predicting Billy's responses because the constructivist view holds that all experiences are filtered through the lens of the learner to be interpreted according to the learner's preconceived ideas or existing schema of understanding. And what that is meaning is that there could have been more structure. There could have been more things that they could do as far as rewards. Instead of trying what you think might work, they could have gone and looked at the right sources to find out what might have worked for Billy. They could have realized that the home life might have had more to do with what was going on, because without his home life functioning, his school life never would have functioned. And without his school life functioning, his home life might have been damaged and unable to function properly. There's a lot more that goes along with what's originally going on and what they believe is going on. They could have given him more structure. They could have given him more discipline. In my personal belief, I think that they could have treated him like every other student and disciplined him just the same as every other student. They would just have to work hard to make sure that he wasn't making the same mistakes over and over again. Another thing is that his drug and cigarette abuse wasn't helping matters, but the reason that he was that way was because his dad was an abuser. of a different source, but he was still an abuser, and that was an influence on Billy. Also, with the fact that his mom left, that was a very huge psychological battle for Billy, and maybe he needed to seek some anger management. Maybe he needed to see a family therapist where him and his dad could go together. And maybe his dad could have been going to a single parents meeting to try and help him understand how to parent his child. Not that he didn't know, it's just nothing he was doing was working. Give him some tips on how to figure things out. There's different theories, but nothing is concrete. But the only way that we can make changes is if we go forth and look for those sources to try and help us come up with different theories and different ways of trying to help people. And behavior disorder is a huge thing that's hugely common going on right now, and the best thing that we can do is try and help the kids by doing as much as we can.